The morning air was fragrant with the scent of blooming jasmine as I approached the bamboo grove. Monastery. Disciples were seated in a semicircle, their eager faces turned toward the Buddha. Buddha sat beneath the towering fig tree, a picture of tranquil composure. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on the ground. Each disciple carried questions within, seeking answers from their revered teacher. Buddha began, his voice calm yet resonant, carrying wisdom like the wind carries seeds. Holding space for yourself, he said, is an act of quiet compassion. He paused, allowing the words to settle like dew on grass. Too often, we struggle against the currents of our own emotions, resisting their flow. One disciple, named Anand, raised his hand timidly. Loving something does not grant ownership, the Buddha replied. The flower thrives because it is free, not because it is held. First, acknowledge the turmoil within you, the Buddha said, his tone steady. To deny it is to deny part of yourself. His words resonated like ripples spreading across a still pond. Acceptance is the foundation upon which healing rests. The disciples listened intently, their hearts seeking the solace in his teachings. Buddha continued, imagine your mind as a vast pond, disturbed by winds of fear and doubt. His eyes scanned the attentive faces before him. When the winds cease, the water stills, reflecting the heavens clearly. Anand hesitated, then asked, but Master, how do we quiet these winds? His voice was tinged with both urgency and hope. The Buddha smiled gently, as if understanding the depth of Anand's struggle. Do not resist the winds, the Buddha advised. Instead, observe them. Let them pass without clinging or pushing. He paused, allowing the disciples to absorb the metaphor. In observation lies stillness. In stillness, clarity emerges. A breeze rustled the grove, mirroring the calm that began to settle within the listeners. The Buddha shared a story, his voice weaving a tapestry of lessons. Once, I encountered a man consumed by grief, sitting alone by a riverbank. To love another is to recognize their freedom, he said. It is to walk beside them without dictating their steps. I approached him and simply sat beside him, saying nothing, yet offering presence, the Buddha said softly. At first, he did not notice me, consumed as he was by his pain. The Buddha's tone held a quiet reverence for the memory. Hours passed, and gradually, his sobs became sighs, his breathing steadying. He paused, gazing into the distance, as if seeing the scene anew. When he finally looked up, he saw not judgment nor pity in my eyes, the Buddha continued. He saw acceptance, a space for his pain to exist. The disciples exchanged glances, each reflecting on their own encounters with suffering. The Buddha's voice softened further, like the caress of the breeze. In holding space for another, I did not fix his pain but bore witness to it. He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle. One disciple asked, Master, does this mean we must bear everyone's burdens without offering solutions another day? Another lesson unfolded beneath the great canopy of trees where the Buddha shared his timeless wisdom. Disciples gathered again, their faces reflecting anticipation and reverence for the words they would receive. The morning sunlight painted streaks of gold on the earth, casting serene shadows upon the grove. The Buddha sat cross-legged, embodying stillness and purpose, his gaze steady yet gentle. A new voice emerged from among the disciples, belonging to Devadatta, the scholar. It is an act of understanding. Understand the nature of impermanence, and the heart will find its peace. Judgment is a weight we carry, often heavier than we realize. His voice was calm, his words deliberate, each carrying an invitation to reflection. The disciples listened closely, their curiosity piqued by the distinction Buddha revealed. Buddha continued, discernment clears the mind, allowing wisdom to shine like the moon reflected on a calm lake. He paused, gazing at the attentive faces before him. Judgment, however, clouds perception, trapping the heart in suffering. Devadatta frowned slightly, his intellect grappling with the depth of these insights. Master, he asked, is it not our duty to judge between right and wrong, between virtue and vice? His voice bore both inquiry and pride. Buddha smiled gently, his demeanor unshaken, his compassion unyielding. Virtue, he said, is not upheld by judgment but nurtured by understanding and compassion. His words settled over the group like the morning dew. A moment of silence followed, the grove holding its breath as if absorbing the wisdom imparted. Buddha spoke again, weaving a tale from his own journey, a story to illuminate his teachings. Long ago, he began, I approached a house for alms, seeking nothing more than sustenance for the day. The streets bustled with activity. Carts creaked, and merchants called out, their voices rising above the laughter of children. Amidst the lively commotion, the Buddha's gaze fell upon an elderly weaver spinning threads into cloth with unwavering patience. His voice carried neither anger nor sorrow, only acceptance and clarity. She cursed me, her words heavy with contempt, her heart burdened by unseen pain. Buddha continued softly. I stood before her, offering neither defense nor reproach, only a silent presence of peace. His eyes reflected the memory, as if reliving the moment's stillness. As I left the grove, I knew that the journey of understanding had only just begun. Love, I realized, was not in the holding but in the giving, the freeing, the being. The grove fell silent once more, the flowers swaying gently in the breeze, as though bowing in reverence. The lesson lingered in the air, a silent hymn to the art of loving without owning. Master, he asked, did her judgment not wound you, even if undeserved? His tone was marked by genuine curiosity and a hint of skepticism. Buddha's gaze met Devadatta's, his presence as steady as the rooted tree beneath which he sat. Her judgment was her burden, Buddha replied. It reflected her suffering, not my worth. I bore it not within me. A gentle breeze passed through the grove, as if nature itself conspired to underscore the lesson. To hold space for oneself, Buddha continued, is to release the weight of judgment, both given and received. His voice, calm as the river, flowed through the circle of disciples. The grove grew quiet, each disciple reflecting on the judgments they carried within and imposed outward. Judgment divides, Buddha said softly. Compassion unites. Discernment sees clearly without the veils of bias or condemnation. A younger disciple, her voice trembling, asked, Master, how do we let go of judgment when it clings so tightly to our hearts? Her question carried the vulnerability of someone burdened by self-reproach. Buddha turned to her, his expression one of boundless empathy, his words like a balm. Begin by forgiving yourself, he said. Forgiveness releases judgment's hold, creating space for compassion to grow. His gaze lingered on her, as if bestowing the strength needed for her journey. The disciples nodded, their breaths steadying as the teachings took root within their minds and hearts. Buddha shared another story, his voice weaving wisdom into every sentence. Consider the lotus flower, he began. It blooms in the muddiest waters, yet rises pure and radiant above them. The disciples visualized the lotus, their imaginations painting the vivid resilience of the symbol. The lotus does not judge the mud but draws nourishment from it, transforming hardship into beauty, Buddha said. His words carried the weight of universal truth, simple yet profound, stirring hearts into quiet contemplation. We too must rise above judgment, he said, not in disdain but in understanding, not in separation but in unity. The sunlight grew warmer, the grove shimmering with the interplay of light and shadow, mirroring the disciples' inner reflections. Devadatta spoke again, his voice softer. his pride tempered by curiosity. Master, he said, how does one practice discernment without falling into judgment? Buddha's gaze met Devadatta's, his eyes filled with the wisdom born of profound stillness. Discernment arises from stillness, Buddha said. When the mind is calm, it sees truth clearly, without the distortions of fear or desire. He paused, allowing Devadatta and the others to sit with the resonance of his words. Judgment often stems from fear or insecurity, the need to assert control or superiority, he added. Discernment seeks only understanding. The grove fell silent once more. The disciples contemplating the layers of insight revealed to them. Buddha rested his hands on his knees, his presence a beacon of peace amidst the stirrings of thought and emotion. His voice, calm and unyielding, carried one final teaching for the day. When you release judgment, he said, you unburden your heart, freeing space for compassion, understanding, and true connection. The disciples closed their eyes, their breaths deep and steady, their minds seeking the stillness Buddha spoke of. The grove bore witness to their silent meditation, the air imbued with the sacredness of the moment. As the morning gave way to noon, the disciples held Buddha's teachings within them, a light guiding their paths. The grove remained tranquil, a sanctuary for wisdom, as the lessons of judgment, discernment, and compassion resonated endlessly. Another day, another gathering under the towering trees, where the Buddha's presence radiated peace and clarity. Disciples assembled quietly, their hearts and minds open to the teachings they sought. The early evening sun cast a warm glow over the grove, enveloping it in serene light. The Buddha sat cross-legged, his posture reflecting both strength and tranquility. His gaze rested on the group, his silence more powerful than words. Among the disciples was Maya, who hesitated before speaking, her voice trembling. Master, she said softly, how do we find worth within ourselves when shadows of doubt obscure our hearts? The Buddha turned to Maya, his eyes filled with gentle empathy and unwavering understanding. Maya, he said, unworthiness is a shadow cast by the mind, but shadows only exist where light resides. His words were deliberate, each one carrying profound meaning that resonated with the group. Maya lowered her gaze, her struggle reflected in her every movement. But Master, she asked, how do we see this light within when the shadows feel so overpowering? Her question echoed the unspoken doubts of many disciples gathered there. Buddha inclined his head slightly, his voice calm yet purposeful. To see the light within, you must first embrace the shadows, for they are not separate from your journey. His words hung in the air, heavy with wisdom yet light with hope. He shared a story from his travels, his voice weaving vivid imagery into the minds of his listeners. Once, he began, I met an old man who carried a lantern. Even in the brightness of day, the disciples leaned in, captivated by the narrative unfolding before them. I asked him, the Buddha continued, why carry a lantern when the sun lights your path so clearly? His answer surprised me. The grove fell silent, the disciples awaiting the revelation that the story would offer. The Buddha smiled, the simple curve of his lips radiating warmth. As the day turned to evening, the disciples began to gather their belongings, preparing to move onward. I lingered by the riverbank, watching the water carve its path through stone and soil. The lesson of the sand and the river stayed with me. He paused, allowing the lesson to take root in the hearts of his disciples. A young disciple named Ravi spoke, his voice hesitant but determined. Master, he asked, how do we nurture this light within when the world so often dims it? His question carried the weight of his own experiences. Buddha turned to Ravi, his gaze steady and compassionate. Begin by turning inward, he said. Your breath is the bridge between you and the sanctuary within. Her voice quivered as she began. Master, today I spoke with a woman overwhelmed by pain. Her love for her son brings her immense suffering. Each exhale releases the burdens that darken your light. His voice was a guiding presence, calm and unwavering, as the disciples found stillness within themselves. Buddha shared another tale, his voice a steady thread binding wisdom to experience. While traveling through a forest, he began. I encountered a tree, gnarled and weathered, yet standing strong against the elements. The disciples visualized the tree, its resilience vivid in their minds. The tree bore scars from storms and drought, yet its roots reached deep, drawing strength from the unseen earth, Buddha said. Another disciple spoke up, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Master, how can love exist without expectation? Is it not natural to desire love in return? The Buddha's eyes swept over the group, his gaze steady and patient. Maya spoke again, her voice steadier now, her courage growing. Master, she asked, how do we keep our light alive amidst the storms of life? Buddha regarded her with infinite patience, his words deliberate and filled with care. Cherish your light as you would a flame in the wind, he said. Protect it with the stillness of your heart. His gaze swept across the disciples, each face a reflection of the wisdom they received. In stillness, Buddha continued. Your light burns steady, illuminating your path and guiding others without being extinguished by the storms. His words carried a profound truth, simple yet transformative, resonating deeply with the group. Ravi asked, Master, what of those who seek to diminish our light? How do we respond without dimming ourselves in return? His question echoed the struggles of many disciples, their faces reflecting their shared burdens. What is its purpose? The disciples glanced at one another, their expressions curious. Before Kema answered, to reflect. Master, a mirror shows us our own image. The attempt to dim another's light stems from their own shadows. His words offered not only guidance but also a call to understanding and empathy. He set the mirror down gently, as though returning it to its natural state. The woman's love must reflect her own heart, free of the need for her son's acceptance. To hold space for yourself is to embrace both light and shadow, uniting them in harmony. His final words lingered like an eternal echo in the hearts of his disciples. Compassion flows from the wellspring within, touching lives with the radiance of your own illuminated soul. The disciples closed their eyes, the evening air enveloping them as they meditated on the truths they had received. The stars began to appear in the night sky, their light a reminder of the lessons etched into the silence of the grove. The Buddha's teachings resonated deeply, his words leaving an indelible mark on the hearts gathered beneath the sacred canopy. It flows because that is its nature, not because of expectation. Kema's eyes glistened with unshed tears as she whispered, Master, will her son ever see her love and accept it? The Buddha's gaze softened further, his voice like a lullaby for weary souls. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.